Hey everyone, so today I'm going to do a review of my tarot deck, Les Dinosavres de Marseille. Now, if you are familiar with the Marseille tarot deck, this deck is heavily influenced and inspired by that, and you will see that reflected in the art. And I will go through it now with you, okay? So first it comes with a book that tells you the cards and a brief description of the card. So the wheel and then the description, but it does not tell you the meanings. So if you're not very familiar with the meanings, I would recommend that you either look them up online or use another app to, look up the meanings. All right. So we have the major arcana first, and this is the Fool, right? Number 0. Now, what I love about this deck is you can tell that these are hand-drawn and then outlined and then colored in, because you can see the pencil marks and then how it's colored in. You can see sometimes it goes outside the lines. Magician. The Lovers. Chariot. Like, here's another instance where you can see that they corrected it with what appears to be white out, like right here and there. The Wheel of Fortune. Or just the wheel, But yeah, if you take a look, you can see like the pencil markings where it was hand drawn, especially like there between the wheel and the water, you can see a pencil line. Whoops. The Hanged Man. Yep, you can see pencil lines. Death. The Tower is a volcano in this deck. The World. And then we have extra cards in this deck, which include planetary cards. Then we have the Virtues, the Seasons, and the Humors. And I believe you call this the Happy Tree Squirrel, but in this case it's a shrew. Next we have the 4 suits. So we have the Ammonites, which are pentacles or coins, crinoids, which are cups, fossils, which are wands, and ferns, which are swords. Now, with the last 3 suits, you can see the elements in them. So obviously cups is water, wands is fire, swords is air. The only one you can't really tell is the Ammonites and earth. All right. Now, some of these don't have Roman numerals, so I added them myself. And for ones that are kind of hard to tell, I also added an arrow to indicate upright. So if you do reversals, this would be upright, this would be reversed. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, king, queen, knight, page. Now, this is heavily influenced on the Marseille tarot deck, and the Marseille did include the Roman numerals. And so I want to add that this is it's very true to the original Marseille deck. And in the Marseille deck, it is also missing Roman numerals on some of the cards, and the Roman numerals are incorrect on some of them. For instance, nines. Nines are not supposed to be VIII. It's supposed to be IX. And that is not the artist who made these fault. That is because the original deck had it like this with the VIII, the four I's when it's just supposed to be IX. Or like fours are also supposed to be, they're not supposed to be four I's, it's supposed to be IV. So that's something I find a little irksome, but that's not because of the creators of this deck, that's because the original deck also had that mixed up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. King, queen, knight, page. Sorry, reposition there. 1, 2, 3. And these ones are easier to tell because it has the element on the bottom. Same with the water. 4, 5, 6. You can see this is one where I added it because I accidentally put 7 instead of 6 the first time I was doing that. 7, 8, 9, 10, king, queen, knight, page, and swords. 2. These ones were a little trickier, so I added, the arrows to indicate which direction is supposed to be which for myself. So I do really love this deck because it is dinosaurs, and I have always loved dinosaurs ever since I was a kid. Also, the fact that you can tell that this deck was hand-drawn and sketched and then filled in and outlined and everything really goes to show the effort put into it to make it. And I also, as an artist myself, really appreciate that, and the fact that you can see those lines and the imperfections really builds character to the deck. So I really see that in a positive light. I know some people might critique that and be like, oh, it's sloppy and messy. No, I love it because you can see all that. Because nobody and nothing is perfect. And so the fact that I can see all that, just, it really speaks volumes to me. I really like the size of the cards. I think, they fit well in my hand. Also, I didn't show you the back of the cards. Let me show you the back of the cards. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. Also, the colorings in general on these cards are gorgeous. So I like how they fit in my hand. They're a little harder to shuffle because there's extra cards, but you can get used to it. Or if you need to, you can split up the deck. Take out the extra cards if you don't want them. So it has more because of that. I think the material is quite nice. It's quite thick and glossy. So they slide very well and they don't stick together. But sometimes that causes it to, depending on the energy of when I'm doing a reading, sometimes it causes the cards to slide a little too much and then they just go flying. But I love this deck. I would not recommend it if you are a beginner, only because it has the extra cards in it and you'd have to look up all the meanings to those, because the book does not have any of the meanings in it. But if you really like colorful art and you like the Marseille tarot deck and you also really like dinosaurs, I would definitely say this is a deck for you. It is my go-to deck. I have found this deck to be pretty much really reliable. Only time it hasn't been is when like the energy has been really disruptive, and then I'll get like mixed answers or my cards go flying. But for the most part, this deck is great. I love this deck, and I definitely recommend it. I would say overall 9 out of 10, only because it may not be beginner friendly, and because I just find the Roman numeral things to kind of throw me off a little bit. But that's not the creators of this deck's fault. The original Marseille deck has the Roman numerals mixed up like that. All right, take care.